everybody, and welcome to Tony Northeastern. And as you know, over the past couple of weeks I've been building a storage yard for the layout. It's about to start a control panel. So let's have a quick look. Okay, this is the start of the control panel. As you can see, there's the 10 sidings there with the spur line there, which I've included onto the control panel, and there's the spur there which runs off there as a siding, and the rest of it comes round, as you know, into the fiddle yard. I'm making it out of 4mm thick Perspex, and it might look red on the camera, but I can tell you it is definitely orange, and it matches the name signs on the layout for the period that I'm doing the layout in, which is between the 50s and the 60s, and the signs were in the northeastern orange. Yes, these are the switches I'm going to be using, these toggle switches, which are sprung loaded both ways, and that's what I'm going to be using to flick the solenoids over on the points. Now the white lining is vinyl lining from Green Sticks, and that's 1mm thick also. I found it very easy to do. It's very easy to cut. What I was doing, I was actually cutting it on the Perspex itself without scoring the Perspex. So I was laying it on, cutting it at the angles very gently with a very fine blade, and it looks quite smart actually. I was going to do it in black, but I've done it in white instead. Okay, so the next thing to do is to drill the holes so I can mount the switches, and that's a 6mm hole for these. Okay, so I shall do that and mount the switches and see where we go from there. The switches are now fitted. I have the 10 point switches, 2 light switches, and 1 main power feed switches for the buzz bar, so the whole section can be isolated when I'm running the rest of the layout. One thing you have to be wary of is when you're drilling through the Perspex, go through with on a slow speed and have support underneath the back of the Perspex, so you don't break through and shatter the back of the Perspex. So when you're drilling, take your time and slow speed, plenty of support on the back, and you'll end up with nice clean holes for your switches. Alright, so if I open the lid, we can have a quick look inside. Right, there's not a lot inside at the moment. I have the 5 terminal blocks in ready. This one is going to be for my lights. I don't think there's going to be many lights on the fiddle yard, and these 4 will be for the points. So the cables from the points will come in, go to this first, and pick up the power supply to the switch, and that will be explained later on. So as you notice, I have 1 cable in already. This is the isolating cable for the whole of the fiddle yard. The actual box is 6mm plywood on the bottom with another piece of 6mm just for screwing the terminal blocks to. It's made out of 10mm timber and with a 6mm plywood base. Yeah. Okay, here's the wiring diagram that I've drawn up, just so to remind myself how I have wired up the fiddle yard. Now, the power supply is from the Ecos, live and the neutral, runs round. The live goes direct to the switch, comes back to the live on the buzz bar. The buzz bar terminates at a terminal block at that end and is attached by a terminal block at this end. Now on the neutral side it just goes back to the Ecos, and the dropper wires from the track goes to either the positive or the negative, and obviously I've color coded the cables as well. Okay, that's just a brief explanation on how I've wired up the fiddle yard, separated from the rest of the layout. Alright, I have used these right angled brackets to support the control panel on the baseboard itself, as you can see. I'll just come back a bit, you can actually see it just hanging there. Okay, and what I've actually done is I've bent them in a vise at least 30 degrees off the 90, so we're about 120 degrees just to get the angle, and I have supported it with a little wooden block underneath just to give it some extra support because it was a little bit flimsy. Right, just a quick close-up of the switches I'm using. The one on the right hand side is the on, off, on sprung loaded, so it goes back to the middle once you've pressed it, and the switch on the left hand side is the on and off. And I just thought I'd quickly show you this, so if you are planning to build a control panel, these are the switches to get. Okay, we'll just give the isolation switch a try out. So I shall set that delta away. Okay, I'm going to flip the switch. Okay, that works. So now the fiddle yard is isolated from the rest of the layout. So as you can hear, the other train over at Tyne Dock is still running. Okay, before we go, I met up with a fellow YouTuber at the weekend, Fred of the Wilbury line. If you don't know it, go and check him out. He has a railway in his shed, and he's also into motorbikes as well. It was great meeting you, Fred. I hope we'll meet up again. So that's Fred of the Wilbury line. Give it a look. Thanks for watching. Bye.